Welcome to Coolcom's first email program. What you'll learn today are 9 fundamentals that will make the difference between tearing your hair out and knowing exactly what to do. You'll learn what makes up an email address. You'll learn how to choose an email client wisely, be it Outlook or Thunderbird or something for your Mac. You'll want to think carefully about your needs. You'll also find out the difference between IMAP and POP and why there's only one choice now. Backing up and archiving will eliminate stress and the inconvenience of lost mail. And you'll learn about spam, some of the smart tools that servers have, and how you can take back control yourself. You'll also learn about tracking your email. Did you know you could do that? You can. Every email is in fact a registered letter. You learn about security and passwords, SSL, and keeping your account secure, as well as using multiple devices, syncing them so that your mail is the same at each one, and accessing multiple accounts from one email client. Let's start by taking a look at email addresses, what can and can't be used. As you probably already know, all users have an email address that contains the local name, followed by the @ symbol, and the home domain that indicates the email server. For the sake of practicality, we're going to focus on common usage and skip discussing extremes. Let's take a look at the username or local part of an address. This can contain numbers 0 to 9, upper and lowercase letters. Keep in mind that the server no longer distinguishes between the two. The plus sign, which can be used to indicate a folder on the destination account. For example, an email to John plus new patients at an email address will go directly to the new patients folder if John has that set up in his Outlook. What a cool little thing I just learned today. The hyphen is also acceptable in an email address, as are underscore, tilde, and period. Periods are allowed but cannot be the first or last character, nor can they be consecutive periods. Common advice, though, is always avoid special characters, as some mail servers will reject them. Finally, let's take a look at the additional rules that apply to the address part of the email address. The @ symbol is the part of the address that's inserted between the local part and the domain part, as shown in our example, drjohn@mail.com. The domain part of the address must be a valid registered domain. It can contain uppercase and lowercase letters, and the server will not discern between the two, so use whatever you like esoterically. It can contain digits and can contain a hyphen, provided it's not the first or last character. Now let's talk about email clients. The term client encompasses anything that's going to read your email for you, be that on your computer, your PC, or your Mac. It could be an app on your device, and a client can even be something online that you surf over to read your email. The client is what's reading your email and helping you reply, sort, that kind of thing. Your email client is the software program you use to access and display your mail. They're both free and paid software programs available. Some distinguish between the amount of accounts they allow. Some include calendars, notes, and other office tools. Some have improved filtering and sorting. All will have their own look and feel that you may or may not be comfortable with. And in all cases, there will be a settings section wherein you can fine-tune the look and function of each client. It's not the purpose of this course to review multiple email clients. Rather, we're going to suggest some proven options. When considering email clients, the other thing to regard is the difference between an email software program such as Outlook or MacMail and a web page interface, which is used by Gmail and Yahoo. One is actual software programs that you install on your machine, which is only accessible by using that machine, Outlook or MacMail, for example. The other is essentially a web page that can be accessed like a website or on any machine, like Gmail, Yahoo Mail, or Hotmail. While the point of this course isn't to review all of the email clients available, we do want to take a look at some of the more common ones out there. Outlook is the #1 Windows mail client. Apple Mail is still the most commonly used standard client for Apple systems. Gmail is by far the #1 based worldwide web accessible mail, and Outlook is similar to Gmail, it's the Microsoft offering. Below here, we also have a couple of links that will take you to some of the quality info we've managed to find that does review these clients so that you can help yourself make an informed choice. When setting up email, we're provided with a choice of IMAP or POP. So let's take a look at those two options. The way we used to use email and how we get it now has abruptly changed the type of email we should be using. We are provided with a choice between POP and IMAP email. POP email was the standard. It involved installing a mail client on our computer and then programming it to either manually or automatically download our mail off the internet server providing the service. Once removed, that email now solely existed on the machine we downloaded it to. As the smartphone became more of a personal computer that we carried around and multiple portable computer options hit the market like iPads, notepads, accessing our email from multiple machines became commonplace and more convenient, if not outright essential to some people's day-to-day business. This was a problem for POP Mail, as a computer at home programmed to check and download mail regularly would then make that email unreachable by other devices. While there were workarounds like telling the computer to leave a copy on the server, they were still not a full solution to the problem of mail clients accessing the same email account. IMAP email addresses this issue. Instead of downloading mail, IMAP clients actually read the email off the server like web browsing and reading a website. Email that arrives in your account is readable but not removed from the server, even though a cached copy might be stored on your personal machine. If you access it later with another device, that same email is still there on the server to be read in the inbox. Another benefit is sent mail. No matter which device or computer you send mail from, it will be viewable by all devices in the sent mail folder. Let's take a look at backups and archiving as they pertain to email, because many of us have already experienced the stress and inconvenience of lost email. Backups and archiving is the insurance plan for your precious mail should a software or hardware failure cause the loss of data. With IMAP now the standard for most email, this usually means backing up email that is on your internet server, not on your personal computer. The online backroom systems for most web and email hosts will often provide a backup method, which then requires you to log in with FTP and find a place off server to store those precious files. Please keep in mind that storing them on the internet server is the same as leaving your keys in your car. You need to find a second location. Now, if you're a fan of the Coolcom method, do it for me please, and a client of Coolcom, then we've already taken care of all this for you. Our trend-setting Coolcom security plan removes all doubt and worry by automatically creating weekly backups of your email and website if applicable and storing them for 6 weeks on the Amazon cloud. There's nothing for you to do but relax. Now, if you're a person who needs to keep files from way back, there are legal requirements in some jobs that need you to keep communications records for several years, then Coolcom has alternatives for you. Mail clients, both computer programs and webmail, can get slowed down considerably when mail files reach bulk proportions. Outlook has a file limit of about 20 gigabytes, but can be altered. So to recap on the archiving options, if you don't need to be accessing that older mail daily, archiving is your friend. Archiving older mail on a personal machine makes it easy to access instantly if required. Backing up means your data is entirely present both in your email system and on your backup, but your client may eventually run slower if you store a higher volume of email. A consideration: with archiving, you are only taking a select group of emails that can be chosen by date, folder, sender, etc., removing them from your daily files and storing them in a duplicate account on your machine. This removes them from the mail server, so they will no longer be backed up by the weekly backups. They are, however, always accessible on that machine. A backup of the archive to a hard drive is recommended if you're using this method. And always remember, Coolcom backs up your data for you weekly. Let's move on to talking about spam. Whether it's regular mail or email, bulk advertising has always been there. Email simply made mass access far easier for mass emailing campaigns and certainly far less expensive. Unfortunately, there are always those eager to take advantage with less than legitimate offers, or even too many offers. In essence, spam is simply email you don't want to receive. It can waste your time, mislead and misdirect you, carry infected code and viruses that can corrupt your system and even try to convince you to divulge critical personal info. Not all unrequested correspondence is bad, but you need to decide what you want to receive and carefully discard the rest. Taking your spam protection for granted, however, can also result in missing legitimate email. Remember, just because you don't recall seeing it, it doesn't mean you didn't receive it. Have you heard of sender verification? It's one of the stronger but less advertised methods for deterring spam, in that the mail server checks to see if the received email came from an actual real email address. Spammers often tend to use false email addresses. It's a more labor-intensive method for mail providers, which is why so many fail to carry out the process. However, sender verification eliminates thousands of spam emails daily from Coolcom mail servers before they even get to your inbox. Now, if a spammer uses a legitimate address and sender verification still can't stop them, then there is Spam Assassin, the mail server's bodyguard. Spam Assassin uses various rules to determine the spam content of a mail message and can be told to either junk or just mark it as email spam, which adds a message to the header, or to deposit that email in the junk or spam folder in your email client. While the default settings usually take care of most spam, fine-tuning is available. Clever creation and use of additional Spam Assassin rules can also allow you to take effective action on particularly bothersome spammers. For example, Coolcom had a business client being spammed by dozens of .xyz domains with legitimate email addresses. We simply created a rule to refuse any email from any .xyz domain. No, the client was not concerned about receiving valuable mail from a .xyz domain. Again, any email judged as spam by the program can also be sent to a folder for review before being discarded. Often the best course is to ask your web host for advice or assistance. At Coolcom, we take a lot of pride in helping you rid yourself of unwanted and sometimes dangerous email. Ask today how we can help you take back your inbox. So whether your mail is inbound or outbound, it's always tracked. In other words, every email is a registered letter. Have you heard this one before? I never got your email. It must be lost in space, in the electrons. It's an easy out, but it's also super easy to verify. Computers are great at keeping records, called logs, that tell us everything. Coolcom does an amazing job of tracking both incoming and outgoing mail. Coolcom Mail includes access to a tracking tool that reports on delivered and failed emails. It's right in your cPanel. For failed email, there's even a stated reason. If things get complicated, Coolcom's highly trained staff can sleuth it out for you. Now that's personal service. A personal approach means no "sounds plausible" answers coming from a company too large to deal with your request. Moving over to security, passwords, and SSL, this is how you keep your account secure. Protecting mail servers from the daily onslaught of scammers, hackers, and criminals is quite literally a full-time job. With some countries even unofficially supporting full-time hacking crews, it's no secret that there is a war going on out there. The prime reason for attacking a mail server is to obtain access in order to send out mass spam mailings using your resources. Therefore, your mail provider needs to do two things: protect your account and domain, and mitigate damage if your account is compromised. One hacker tactic is to repeatedly hammer a server over a period of time with guessed passwords, sometimes using a dictionary attack or even just commonly known and used passwords. A well-prepared mail provider like Coolcom uses what is called brute force protection that records the source of the repeated attempts and blocks them instantly. It's important to note that Coolcom email includes SSL defense for your accounts when logging in, so your password is not viewable to hackers. It's free for the first year and only $6.95 per year thereafter. While some companies do provide or sell SSL, be careful of what's covered. Coolcom's Wildcard SSL, which is sold for up to $499 per year at GoDaddy, not only covers your main domain, but all subdomains as well, and includes your email server. And another great feature of a well-protected system is mitigation. If something does happen and a password gets leaked out, a good mail server should be set up to limit the amount of bad email going out, which helps prevent the blacklisting of your domain. Let's talk for a minute about using multiple devices. One can no longer wait for an appropriate time when you can sit down at your computer. Smartphones, iPads, tablets, laptops, we're using multiple devices to access it. This is where syncing of your email accounts on multiple devices becomes essential, and IMAP email, which we discussed previously, is the way to take advantage of this. With IMAP email, your devices all become terminals, reading and editing email on the server and making changes right on the email server. As an extra example, when you create a folder in your email on Outlook or Thunderbird at your computer or using your tablet, that folder will create at the server level, and then all other devices checking that mail will in turn also create the same folder. Everything is beautifully synced. Every sent email is accessible from every device. It's certainly common to use multiple email accounts. There's business email, personal email, sales email. There's all kinds of addresses we may have accumulated over the last several years that we want to continue to check. But people forwarding email is not the answer. It can cause its own complications. For example, some account types such as Twitter send notices with every post, and repeated forwarding of those messages to, for instance, a Gmail account can cause Gmail to block the sending address. So now suddenly your main email address is blocked by Gmail thanks to Twitter. The key in these cases is to use a mail client that can accommodate accessing multiple accounts in one window. Outlook is a great example of that. Outlook, you can list 6, 7, 8, as many email accounts as you would like to, and have them all appear in one convenient window for you to check all day. So let's repeat all together. Forwarding email is not the answer. Instead, choose a client that can manage multiple accounts. Some, like Outlook, will display each account individually in a side menu. Others, like Gmail, will bring all mail into one account but allow you to send each to its own inbox type of folder. In Outlook, one simply sets up access to each account individually, and they stay listed separately on your side menu. The Gmail client, interestingly, allows the web interface to actually go to each additional account and draw the mail down. That's one less forward, one less problem. If you don't know how, ask your email provider for assistance with settings for setting up your Gmail interface to access multiple accounts. CoolCom has done this for hundreds of clients and will be happy to help you too. We hope you've learned something new about email in this course and how you can take better control of your inbox. Keep an eye on our educational website for additional courses and more advanced training on handling your email, handling spam, and other advanced topics that are related to email.